Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. So in this one here, I want to break down the episode 3 trailer for Fear the Walking Dead Season 7. So obviously, before we go any further, I do have to warn you that this will contain spoilers for episodes 1 and 2 of Fear the Walking Dead. So if you haven't watched it yet, then maybe don't continue any further with the video. But yeah, let's just jump into this right away. So obviously, from what we see in the trailer here, they're going to focus on like two different storylines. So we're going to see some stuff with Strand. I think the stuff with Strand is going to be very minimal and basically just be what we saw here in the trailer. It's literally just going to be Strand in that room talking with Morgan. Somehow they're gonna communicate here, and that's all it's going to be. I really think, as just for the Strand stuff anyways, it's just going to be that. We are going to see some Morgan stuff as well. Obviously, they're going to focus a lot on Morgan, but I think the primary story here is actually going to be John Dory Sr. and June, which is going to be really fascinating. So first of all, I just got to say, I mean, seeing the visuals here, they just look really great. And I know I keep bringing up the visuals with this show, but it's just, they're in this nuclear apocalypse, right? Like it's literally a nuclear apocalypse, but there's also a zombie apocalypse. So it looks really great. And I'm so happy that at least visually, they got the story wise and everything else, I think they're doing really well with the show, but the visual stuff with the apocalypse, they actually are delivering with it. Like, that was one of my worries. Like, if they were to do a nuclear apocalyptic world, I was worried, like, just with the budget and stuff like that it wouldn't look that great. Just because, you know, I expect a show like The Last of Us to definitely be able to do that really well. But like a show like Fear the Walking Dead, I'm like, I know their budget's low, so we'll have to see what they can do with everything, but I think they're actually doing it pretty well. I mean, you get a shot like this, that looks like, I mean, look at that. That's crazy. That looks so good. I'm so happy that we get to have all of this stuff and that they're actually doing something a little different here with the story. And I think that's actually a big part of why Fear the Walking Dead is so good right now, is that they are doing something different with the story. We're seeing a different aspect to the zombie apocalypse that The Walking Dead won't necessarily do, right? Like The Walking Dead, I think that's why the Reaper arc kind of got a little boring too, a little bit. Some stuff with it was exciting, and I think it was more the Leah side of things. But once it got to the actual group and stuff, and we got to Meridian, it kind of fell flat, I would say. Whereas their introduction was really exciting because they were like highly skilled, but like they didn't really do too much with it later on, right? And so I would say with Fear, they have this really cool setting here. And imagine if The Walking Dead did something like that, where a nuke went off and completely just obliterated Alexandria or the hilltop. And then, you know, like, I get that they do have the comic to go off of, but that's stuff that Kirkman could have also have done, right? Like, Kirkman could have introduced this nuclear apocalypse or had a nuke go off in Alexandria, and so everyone had to leave, or some people were stuck hiding in, you know what I mean? They could have did some really exciting stuff there, and I think Fear the Walking Dead is actually doing it. And so I'm definitely really excited about that. And I feel like The Walking Dead is in its final season, so it's going to continue to do this thing. But in the Daryl and Carol spinoff, that's one. And, you know, all the other spinoffs, Tales of the Walking Dead is definitely going to be really exciting next year. So, but I hope that these shows and even the Rick movies take some notes here from Fear. They are doing something, and that's what I mean. Like, whenever I mention like running walkers or something like that, people laugh at that. They think, well, if you make walkers run, that's just going to be so stupid. It's not The Walking Dead. But I think you need a refresher here. I think you need to refresh the storyline a little bit and make it a little bit more exciting. And so you don't necessarily have to do that, but something like that would make it way more exciting than the usual storylines that we usually get. And Fear the Walking Dead is doing that. Like, a shot like this, will we ever see this on The Walking Dead? No. I think it would be so cool to get something like this. Could you imagine them all trying to survive this nuclear apocalypse? Like, that would be so cool, but we're not going to get that. I mean, that's the thing. Like, could you imagine the final moments before that nuke went off? Daryl, and even if Rick was on the show, like, or just Daryl and Negan trying to like stop this new villain Teddy from putting in the codes and setting that thing off. Like, it would just get so intense. And Fear the Walking Dead, they're doing these exciting things. And I think that's why this show is the show you got to watch right now. It's so good. But we see some shots here. We see this one shot of them writing, I guess they've been keeping track of the days. I'm assuming they're going to stay in this place for like a year before they can leave, right? Because it says day 69 and then they have like 200 and something days left. And so that's basically roughly a year. They're like, yeah, you know what? We're just going to stay in here for a year and then we'll go out and it should be safe. And it seems like June doesn't really necessarily know. John and June don't really know if it is necessarily safe to do that. I know Teddy was mentioning a few years, like 4 or 5 years, they would have to stay underground before they can go back up. So, that's they're gonna be in for a rude awakening if they go back up in a year and they still can't. They gotta wait a few more years still. And so I think they do figure that out in the episode. I think that's gonna be one of those things where, like, there's a shot here where John is breaking open this wall. I believe from that one teaser that we got, this is them actually finding Teddy's old room or something. So they're probably gonna find some notes. There's gonna be some stuff here left from Teddy, and that's where they're gonna find out that, oh shit, we actually have to be in here for 4 or 5, 6 years. We have no food for that. We can't stay down here for that long. So what are we going to do? Right. And so that's where we see some shots here. Like this thing here, like John Dory in this suit, you have the eyes are lit up like that. I think this looks really great. So John Dory Sr. is going to go out there and, attempt to, I guess, find something just to see what the world is like. And I imagine this is the first time he's doing it. He probably found the suit down there in Teddy's bunker or Teddy's room, I guess. And that's why we're seeing that. There's also some shots of Morgan outside. And I actually wonder if Morgan's going to run into John Dory Sr. in June. I wonder if that's how the episode's going to end. There's going to be some Strand stuff that's going to happen. But if in this episode, June and John find Morgan, and so they rescue them from there, they all come back to the submarine. I think that could be really cool to actually have that reunion, because somehow you have to get everybody back together. Somehow you got to do this with the storyline, and you have everyone sort of split up. You have John and June here. They're all, they're hiding in this place. You also have Dwight and Sherry hiding somewhere else, and for the most part, that's basically it. Like the Daniel and them went with the CRM. So like there's that whole thing that eventually we will get to, but they are safe. Strand, obviously, we already got that episode. We know he's safe. Alicia's the big mystery, right? Like what's happening next with Alicia? Like that's a whole other thing. But I imagine the next couple of episodes, we're going to start to get into that, right? Once we get to episodes 4, 5, and 6, we're going to see more of that. I feel like 4 is going to be the Dwight and Sherry episode. I feel like these first 4 episodes are going to be a bit slower, reintroduce some stuff here, and then 5, 6, 7, and 8 is where things are going to start to go down. They're going to start to rebuild, and we'll learn more about what Padre means, because they always going to have that mystery, right? And I, as of now, I'm not too excited about the whole Padre storyline, but I am wondering what it means. It seems like the goal, though, is for them to go see Strand. Because Strand at one point just says, all right, like come over here. Like, I dare you. I dare you to try to come to this place. And so I think that's what Morgan's going to try to do, is go see Strand and be like, you got to help us out. You got to, we used to be a group. You just abandoned us and whatnot. And I feel like Strand's going to be like, yeah, I did it for good reason. And then there's going to be some fighting. And I think Strand's forces and stuff could come back. And I think there's going to be some interesting stuff here. But I think at first it's going to be regroup, get everyone together. And it's just sort of one of those things where it's like, where is the story going? Because we have John and June here, right? And Morgan and Grace. I think they're going to get together. Dwight and Sherry somehow have to find them. But at some point, we know Morgan is going to run into the CRM. We know that that's going to be a thing. And so when does that happen? It does happen in the first half, for sure. It does happen in the first half of the season. It's just, how does that connect with the Strand storyline and what he's doing there? And yes, Strand is a villain. He definitely is a villain, but has he done any villainous things? I mean, you could argue, yeah, he killed Will. But that's a character we knew nothing about him, really. He seemed like a really cool guy, but it was in order for him to be the true villain here and to take that next step, he needs to do something to Morgan and Alicia. And I mean, you could argue to Morgan, yeah, Strand almost got Morgan killed. So yeah, I'm sure that ship has sailed, but there's got to be one more thing that he does here that pushes him to that next step. And I think it could be something where he does get someone killed. And I think that's something that's probably going to happen in episode 7 or 8. And I think they're building to that, because I think in the second half of the season is where shit's going to go down between all of it. And then, yeah, I mean, it's interesting now that The Walking Dead is ending. Is Fear going to go past 11 seasons? Probably not. I think Fear the Walking Dead has a couple of years left. And so they're building to something here, right? They are actually building to an ending here for Fear the Walking Dead, but we are still probably a few years away. They'll probably go to season 10, I'm guessing. And so if we have 3 more seasons after this, if Strand dies, say this season or early in season 8, what do they do for seasons 9 and 10? How do they, do the CRM play a bigger role in Fear the Walking Dead? I could totally see that, because World Beyond's gone. I could actually see the CRM playing a role at some point there. And I think it would actually be cool if, I really do believe Madison at some point should return I think it would be cool if Madison actually played a role in the Endgame to the show. I think it would be really good for connecting the all seasons of the show, right? And this way you can watch seasons 1, 2, 3, and 4 and have it sort of make sense with everything else. Or I guess seasons 1, 2, and 3. Because yeah, there is a big change. Morgan's the big focus, but Madison comes back. You sort of give her more of those leading qualities. She becomes more of the main character for that last like 2 or 3 seasons. And then everything connects, right? Like there's this union among all seasons, and it's not so just jarring once season 4 happens and it's like Morgan's the main character, screw you Madison, right? Because you gotta think about the future of the show. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to see where Fear is going. Episode 3 looks really good, and now I'm starting to understand more of where they're going here with the story. But yeah, anyways, make sure to post your thoughts down below and your predictions for episode 3. Hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.